get this review done as quick as possible so that you guys will have time to take your test. So we're going to start with simplifying, and all you're going to do is start with your numbers. And guys, I don't care if you use your calculator and you make it easy on yourself, just to throw that out there. If you put it in 90 over 36 and you do math, enter, it'll tell you what your fraction is without you having to like do that stuff in your head. Okay. You can do it in your head. I know you know how, but this just makes it a little bit quicker. So it reduces to 5 over 2. Guys, if you look at your multiple choice, you already know it. But remember, there's 3 n's on top, 2 on the bottom. Anything that's the same on the top and bottom marks out. So that's how we get the 5n on the top and the 2 on the bottom. So your answer is B. And I don't necessarily like her making the review multiple choice, but it is what it is today. Everybody good? All right, next one. What do I have to do on the next one to be able to simplify it? Yeah, take out a GCF. What's my GCF? 5B. Leaves me with B plus 6. On the bottom, I have B plus 6. So what can I do?
Cross out the B plus 6.
Leaves me with just 5B. What does that make? No. A whole at, there's a whole section on that. Okay. So right now we're just reducing, but then I think goal 3, that's what you have to do is tell if it's a whole or an asymptote. Okay. So 5B, that's all we're worried about right now. All right. Look at your next one. What do I have to do on the top? GCF of 3 leaves me with n plus 4. What do I have to do on the bottom? Slide and divide. There's no GCF, so I'm going to slide and divide. So I have n squared. I'm going to do it down here so you guys can see it. 17n plus 60. What are your factors of 60 that add to 17?
12 and 5.
I did slide. Now I have to, whoa, sorry, y'all. Divide by 3. I don't know what happened right there. 12 over 3 is 4. This one slides up. 3n plus 5. And that's going to be your new denominator. So n plus 4 and 3n plus 5. Your n plus 4 will cancel out. That's the only thing that you can cancel out. What does that cost? A whole at negative 4. So our final answer is 3 over 3n plus 5. Will I have an asymptote on this one? Yes. Remember, this causes the asymptote. And where would that asymptote be? Negative 5/3. Again, you have a whole section on that. So once we get there, you'll understand it even more. So you can do the same thing. It just asks you to identify the holes and the asymptotes. All right, number 4. What do I do on the top? Of 3x. Good. Leaves me with x squared minus 5x minus 72 divided by 3 is? Good. On the bottom, I'm going to leave it alone for just a second, okay? Both the top and the bottom can be factored, so we're going to go ahead and factor it. Leave your 3x out here. What are your factors of negative 24 that add to negative 5? Factors of negative 24 that add to negative 5. Negative 8 and positive 3. On the bottom, factors of positive 6 that add to positive 5. Nope. 3 and 2. Those are the hard ones. They all, guys, on your final exam, they'll give you that one every single time because everybody messes up 1 and 5 and 2 and 3. Okay, so be aware of that. Mark out x plus 3. What does that cost? A whole. So we're left with 3x, x minus 8 over x plus 2, which is a. And do I have an asymptote? At negative 2. Good. Everybody okay? First page. So again, your test shouldn't take very long. We're going to push through this. If you have any questions, just let me know. Seriously, stop me and ask. All right, when we multiply, remember we cross reduce or up, down, reduce, anything the same on the top and the bottom. I told you guys to just extend this out if you needed to. And anything that was the same on the top and the bottom, you can mark out. So what can I mark out? 7n squared. N plus 5. Anything else? So what's my final answer? N minus 2 over 5, which is A. Real quick and simple. Okay, next one. Again, you can spread it all out, but you're gonna have to factor everything. Factors, what can I pull out of 49M and 70? Sorry, it was real blurry. I didn't know it was. 7. What's it leave you with? Good. On the bottom, what can I pull out of 42 and 60? Leaves you with 7M plus 10. No worries. We can already see that these are on top and bottom, so I can mark them out. 42M minus 54. What can I pull out? A 6 leaves me with 7M minus 9. You guys see your 6s, top and bottom? I can go ahead and mark them out. They don't matter anymore. 21M squared minus 27M. Take out what? 3M. What'd that leave me with? Do I have one of those? At the top. So the only thing I see left is 7 over 3M. It will not reduce anymore. So your answer is A. Everybody good? Where are my holes at? Negative 10 over 7. Be careful. Positive 9/7. Yep. Do I have any asymptotes? We would set this equal to 0, and what will we get? 0. So we have an asymptote at 0. Okay, so if it's just a single variable, it's always going to be 0. All right, look at your next one. How do I solve it? Of? Lisa? And that one's done. On the bottom? Lisa? If you already see it, you can mark it out. We don't need it. 25N plus 40? 5 leaves me with 5N plus 8. 40 plus 64?
8.
Did I go with 8? Leaves me with? So I see 5N plus 8 again. Anything else I can cancel? The 8s. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. What's that leave me with? Where are my holes? Negative 8 over 5 and? Negative 1. Negative 1. Do I have any asymptotes? Nope. No numbers left or no variables left in the bottom. Good. Next one. What can I take out of the top? Leaves you with K plus 5. 21K minus 35. Leaves you with nothing cancels out just yet. 30K squared minus 50K. 10 what? Leaves me with? You guys see that that's the same as the bottom. 20K squared plus 100K. 20 what? Leaves me with? K plus 5. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. What else can I do? The 4K and the 20K. 4K will go away. 20K goes to 5. This K is already gone, right? So I can't mess with this K, but I can do the 10 and the 5, which is 2. What's left on the top? Just K? 2K. Good. Don't forget, look around for all of it. And on the bottom, what did I leave? A 7. So your answer is B. All right. Same thing on number 9. The only thing with number 9 is what? What's wrong with it? Yeah, it's negative 8x squared. That should be in the front, but how do we get it in the front? Yeah, we can take out that -1 to flip it around, and then there's also a GCF of 8. So he said just -8 together is perfectly fine. So if I take out -8 and they both have an x, then it flips it around. -8 divided by -8 is a +1. And I took one of the x's, so we're just going to have x. Sorry, y'all. All right. 24x divided by -8x. And make sure it's a -3. Okay, it's a -3. Don't mess it up. All right, on the bottom, 8x squared minus 8x. Please do with x minus 1. Good job. If you already see that 8x is there, that's fine, but don't forget that you have that negative. So I just throw a -1 up there just in case I miss it, okay? On the other side, 3x squared minus 3x. Please do with and if you guys look, there's your x minus 1 will cancel out. On the bottom, we have x minus 3, which will cancel at the top, x minus 3. On the very top, we have a -1 and a 3x, which leaves you with. And we don't have anything on the bottom. So your final answer is C. Where are your holes? +3, +1, and 0. Don't forget that you mark that x out, okay? Everybody good? Anytime you mark a variable out. Look at number 10, last one on this part. What can I take out of the first one? Please do with 9n minus 45. Please do with perfect. The 6n squared won't reduce. What about 42n cubed plus 6n squared? Please do with What can I mark out? Three over 9 is 1/3. So on the top, what do I have left? 1. On the bottom? 3 and n minus 5. That's it. Any questions? Everybody okay? Goal 1 good? All right. So again, all you're doing on goal 1 is reducing. Goal 2 is going to be add and subtract. Remember, because I don't know that she put any divide on here. Yeah, there's complex. We'll get there. All right. So goal 2 is probably the harder one. Just FYI, only because it's the plus minus, whatever. You got to find the common denominator. The good thing is the very first one, we already have a common denominator. So we're just going to squish it over there. 30n squared minus 30n. And on the top, you're just going to write it together. N minus 4 minus 5n. Combine your like terms. N minus 5n is? So we have -4 minus 4n over 30n squared minus 30n. Guys, look at your multiple choice. If you don't see this, you either messed up or there's more to do. Do we have a GCF on the top? We can take out a -4. Now we're going to be, this is where this set version, whatever, is really weird. So just pay attention. Gives me a +1 plus n. On the bottom, what can I take out? Leaves me with n minus 1. All right, now what can I do? What can I do? Guys, we were just doing it. Don't shut down now. We're back to normal. What can I do? Anything I can mark out or reduce? The 4 and the 30. What can I reduce them by? 2. So this turns into a -2. This turns into 15. And then what they do is put them back together. Okay, they put them back together. So distribute that -2 in. You get -2 minus 2n. Distribute your 15, you get 15n squared minus 15n. So we know it's not the first two because I reduced that. And then just watch your signs. We need a -2 and a -2n, which is D. So that's the only reason I don't like this version, like making the test in CUDA, because that's what it does on this. So just be aware. All right, look at every point, and then if you don't have it, see what you can do. All right, what's your common denominator for number 2? First of all, what can I do? What can I do? Out of what? Yeah, take that 10 out. And the reason that I would do that is to make it a little bit easier on you guys. So your 2 will turn into 1 and 5. So what you're actually doing is 1 over 5 b minus 1 plus 4b over 3. That's the actual problem you're doing. Remember, if you can't find a common denominator, all you have to do is multiply them together. So our common denominator is going to be these multiplied together, which will be 15 times b minus 1. Does everybody understand where I got the 15? 5 times 3? And then remember, we cross multiply. 1 times 3 is, we have a plus 5 times 4b, and then b minus 1. And then we would just want to clean it up. We have a 3 plus, I'm going to distribute my 20b to get 20b squared minus 20b over 15b minus 1. Do you see that answer anywhere? Yeah, so stop there. They will not, like, you won't have to reduce more and it'll have the answer. It won't do that. All right. Number 3, there's nothing I can reduce on number 3, so we're just going to smush them together. Our common denominator is x plus 4, x minus 2. We're going to cross multiply, but watch that minus between. We're going to do 5 times x minus 2. We have a minus between. 4 times x plus 4. All right. On the top, what am I going to have? Keep going. Minus 16. Make sure you distribute that -4. On the bottom, still x plus 4, x minus 2. Add your like terms, 5 minus 4. 5x minus 4x.
1x.
1x. -10 minus 16. Over x plus 4, x minus 2. See if you see that as one of the answers. You're done. If you didn't see it as an answer, try to go a little bit further or see if you made a mistake somewhere. Okay. Next one, what's my common denominator? On the top, we're going to cross multiply. We're going to have 5n minus 6 times 2n plus 1 minus 6n times n plus 5. And I'll move it so you guys can see it. We have to double distribute on the first one. 5n times 2n. 5n times 1. -6 times 2n. -6 times 1. We're going to distribute the -6n. -6n times n. -6n times 5. Good. On the bottom, n plus 5. 2n plus 1. Clean it up and then check your answer and see if it's on there or if you have to do more. 10 minus 6. 4n squared. So I got the n squares done. 5 minus 12. Minus 30. I got all the n's. And then I have a minus 6 over n plus 5 to n plus 1. Do I have that? That's it. Okay. Again, once you get it cleaned up, check, and then if you need to do more, go further. All right. Complex, remember we get like terms or like denominators, we put them together, and then instead of dividing, what do? Flip and multiply. So if you actually get a dividing on your test from before, you want to make sure that you flip it and multiply. Okay. So the top is fine, but the bottom is not. I'm going to work it out down here. To get the bottom the same, we're going to push the denominators together. And then we're going to cross multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. Minus u times u is u squared. So I'm going to make 9 a fraction, 9 over 1. Instead of divide, we're going to multiply, and we're going to flip this fraction that we just did. 4u over 4 minus, u squared. Okay. Multiply straight across. 9 times 4u. 1 times 4 minus u squared. And your answer is D. Don't make it more complicated than what it is. All right. On this one, I'm going to put my top down here so I can fix it. Squish the denominators together, 3x. Cross multiply, 1 times 3 is 3. X times x is x squared. So we have 3 plus x squared over 3x. We're going to change it to times. And instead of being 9 over 1, we're going to change it to 1 over 9. Multiply them together. 3 plus x squared times 1. And 3x times 9. Do we have that answer? And that's it. Any questions so far? All right, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all solving. Remember, we found a common denominator, then we ignore the denominators, and we just solve the problem. Check for those extraneous solutions. All right, so what would your common denominator to be? Guys, if you don't know, and how I teach my regulars is I teach them to give every denominator to every fraction. Okay, so if I'm going to show you this one time, you know it's 6v, I'll show you how to do it 6v as well. But if like you don't know, you're so confused you don't know, give this one the 6v, this one gets the 2 and the 6v, and this one gets the 2 because it's what it doesn't have. There are 3 different denominators. There's a 1, a 2, and a 6v, right? The 1 does not matter. This one has the 2, it doesn't have the 6v. This one doesn't have the 2 or the 6v, so I'm going to give it both. This one doesn't have the 2, okay? This will just make your numbers bigger, but the problem comes out exactly the same. So on the top, we would have 6v equals 2 times 6v is 12v plus 1 times 2 is 2. How do I solve it? The other way. Yeah, because 6 is already by itself, that v is already by itself. So we'll be doing an extra step if we move the 6. 6 minus 12 is negative 6v equals 2. How do I solve? And I get v equals negative 1/3. I would check that and make sure it doesn't give me 0. Now, you guys said, I'm going to show you how we were talking about it before. Our common denominator would be 6v squared. What would this one need to get 6v squared? What do I multiply by 2 to get 6v squared? 3v squared. What do I multiply by this to get a 6v squared in the denominator? Then this one already has it, so I don't do anything. There's my denominators. So I get 3v squared equals 6v squared plus 1. Subtract your 6v squared. Oh, why'd I do v squared? Should be v. I'm sorry. Ignore me. Ugh, same thing. Negative 3v equals 1. Divide by negative 3. And v equals negative 1/3. So it's the same thing. This just gives you bigger numbers, but it turns out exactly the same. Y'all yell at me if I screw up again, okay? Don't let me do the whole problem messed up. Everybody good? All right. Common denominator on this one. 3a squared. What does the first one need? I'll put it in the front. We're done with that one. This one has 3a squared. It needs nothing. This one needs 3. Now be careful because it's a subtract, okay? It's a subtract. So the equation you're trying to solve, distribute it out. A times A times 3 equals a squared minus 9a plus 18, because I didn't touch it. Distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times a. Negative 3 times negative 2. Positive 6. Clean it up. Remember, if it's the same on the left and the right, we can mark it out. So our a squares are going to mark out anyway. We have negative 9 minus 3 is negative 12a. 18 plus 6. How do I solve? Add 12a. 15a equals 24. Divide by 15. We need to reduce 24 over 15. We'll reduce to, and your answer is A. When I plug it back in, it does not cause a 0 in the denominator. Bless you. All right, look at number 9. My two denominators are k and k minus 2. There is absolutely no way that I can make k into k minus 2. Don't try. So you actually have two different denominators and they need each part. So the one needs k and k minus 2. Yes, I'm so sorry. Sorry. One needs the k and the k minus 2. What's the second one need? It has k minus 2, so it needs k. And the last one has k, but it needs what? K minus 2. Perfect. Now your denominators don't matter. Distribute 1k times k. 1k times k. K squared. 1k times negative 2. Good. So that one's done. Equals 1 times k is k. Double distribute. K times k is k times negative 2 is 4 times k. 4 times negative 2. Negative 8. Clean it up. Again, if there's k's on each side, you can mark those out. You have a negative 2k right here and a negative 2k right there. That'll mark out. So we get 0 equals, what's k plus 4k? Minus 8. How do I solve it? Add 8 to both sides. And then your last step. Then we get k equals 8 over 5, which is a. All right. Crazy last one. Y'all ready? And then again, that last goal we'll do really, really quickly because it's just identifying holes and asymptotes, but I already did that with you on the first one. So it's exact same. Okay. So factor this out. I have an n plus 6. This will help you learn what you need. I can take an n out of this. What are your factors of 24 that add to 10? So there's your factors, n plus 6, n plus 4. And in the last one, it's n and n plus 6 again. So this one has n and n plus 6. This one has the n and n plus 6, but it also has what? N plus 4. This one doesn't have it, so that's what it needs. The middle has everything, and the last one needs the n plus 4. Okay. Double distribute. These are really crappy, sorry. N times 5n. N times 15. 4 times 5n. 4 times 15. Then this one was fine, 2n squared minus 6n minus 8. And then the last one, -1, watch those, times n. -1 times 4, -4. Clean it up. We have 5n squared plus 35n plus 60 equals 2n squared minus 7n minus 12. Since I have n squared and n, and it's not canceling out, I got to get everything on one side. So I'm going to move it all over at the same time. I'm going to subtract my 2n squared. I'm going to add my 7n, and I'm going to add my 12. That gives me 0 on this side. I get 3n squared, 35 plus 7. Say it again. 42n. And then 60 plus 12 is 72. What can I do? Make it easy on yourself, please. A GCF of what? 3. Leaves me with n squared plus 14n plus. Everybody go with 24? Everybody okay? The 3 does not matter because if I divide it over, I'm just going to get 0 as well. Factors of 24 that add to 14. My 2 answers. And you guys see they're both on there. And since both of them, there's not like a singular one, I wouldn't even try to check it. Only check it if like one of the answers looks like -2. Then I would check the -12. Okay. Any questions on number 10? I got about 5.5 minutes left. Okay. But it's really easy. Just put these in your calculator. When you guys do this in your calculator, I'm just going to do this first one with you. Do alpha y equals to get that fraction in. Alpha y equals. We're going to do x to the third minus 9x. And on the bottom, -4x to the third plus 16x. I don't do a whole unit on this because it's literally just putting it in your calculator. So I think that's pointless for me to spend a whole day making you type stuff in the calculator. I'm going to zoom 6 so that I can graph it, and hopefully it'll look like this. So which one does it look like? D. That's it, y'all. Is everybody good? Guys, make sure that we're focused on me and not on our phones or anything like that. You would do the same thing for number 2, and then look at the back. All it's asking you is where all these things are. So you're going to have to factor again. What are your factors of 4 that add to -5? On the bottom, what can I do? Of. Did I mark anything out? No, so I don't have any holes. That's why all your answers say vertical asymptotes. Remember, whatever variables are left in the bottom causes your vertical asymptotes. So the x causes a 0, and the x minus 3 causes +3. So your answer is C. All right. I can't do anything on number 4. I can't mark it out. So it doesn't have any holes. Does it have a vertical asymptote? At 3. Y'all, that's it. You don't have to show work. It's not a big deal. All right, let's look at number 5. Factors of 4 that add to -5. We just did those on the top. X minus 4, x minus 1. How do I factor x squared minus 1? Very good. What can I mark out? It just asks you to identify the hole. So where's that hole at? +1. Just watch those signs. What about number 6? Factor the top, I get 3x minus 2 over x. Did I mark anything out? Are there any holes? No. Okay. 7 and 8, I will give you the answers to because we don't do horizontal asymptotes. I will show you how to do those later on. Those were not in any of the stuff that I do. So I'll help you out with those. But that means you have to get the rest of them right. Does everybody understand that? You gotta get all of them right. Domain, just put it in your graph and you guys know how to do domains. Why would they have all reals except for these? What would these be? Holes or vertical asymptotes. So let's check this one out. X squared plus x minus 6. What are your factors of negative 6 that add to 1? On the bottom, I can take out a negative 2, which gives me x plus 1. Good. Watch those signs, because if you mess that up, you'll mess up your asymptotes. I didn't cross anything out, so there's no holes, but there is a vertical asymptote at negative 1. Does everybody understand that? Okay. If you want to 7 and 8, you can also look on your calculator to see where that vertical asymptote is. So why don't y'all do that, and then if you screw it up, I'll talk about it, okay? Try those 7 and 8 in your calculator with the vertical asymptote. So number 10, I can take out an x. It leaves me with x minus 3. On the bottom, I need to take out a negative x. It'll leave me with x squared minus 4x plus 3. What are your factors of 3 that add to negative 4? Okay, so there are your factors. What can I do? Which makes a hole at 3. So I'm going to write 3 down. Anything else I can mark out? The x's, which makes a hole at. So what I have left is 1 over negative x minus 1. Do I have anything crazy in there? Not a whole but? Vertical asymptote at 1. So your answer for 10 would be A. So it's the same thing that you've been doing. Is everybody good? All right, I'm going to run out of time. You guys go ahead and take your tests. Stop sharing, stop recording.